Alright, Lesson 1, Part 1. How to run a command with chat. The most popular way to run a command is through chat. If you don't know how to run a command using chat, you're probably just one click or button away from unlocking this awesome ability. All you have to do is type a slash, / that's it. Once you do, you'll see a list of all the commands you can run, scrolling off the screen. Note, you must have cheats enabled to run commands, otherwise the list of commands will not appear. The commands will not execute, and the commands will not execute or run. This is actually a command that you can use, and I should have wrote, and commands will not run, because that's how I refer to it everywhere else. Next, to use a command, simply type it right after the / For example, in part 3 of this lesson, you'll learn about the /give command. To use it, just type give immediately after the slash. Put simply, the slash tells the system you want to run a command, and the word that follows, like give, tells her which command to run. We'll learn how to use the give command in full detail in part 3 of this lesson. And so we can continue, and we'll go on to the part 2. Lesson 1, part 2, the secret blocks in Minecraft. So this part of the lesson is a little harder to understand, mainly because it doesn't show the images of the blocks. But if you want to know the images, go to secret blocks and scroll down to pictures of blocks in the other post. Barrier. What is a barrier? What is a barrier? A barrier is an invisible block that can only be placed by operators, also known as OPS. So when you use a command like DOP, so DOP, it's like saying that you're making someone not like they don't have the ability to do stuff. And when you're making someone OP, it means that they're like operator. In creative mode, you can only be placed by operators in creative mode. Operators are marked by a crown logo when you open the save and quit. You can set players as operators, visitors, or members. Visitors' roles can also be customized. So that's when you go into settings, there's a crown logo over every player, or like there's a logo, and the crown logo is the operator, normally the first person who starts the game. Barrier blocks are mainly used to keep players out of certain areas until they complete a task or event. They also can be useful for making displays of mobs, monsters, or animals. Since the glass can make the display harder to see, the barrier blocks are the best choice for creating borders between areas. Barrier blocks are not the best choice for creating barriers between areas. And this is the code to get the barrier block. And this right here, this block, is why barrier blocks are not good for borders. What is a border block? What are border blocks? A border block is a block that looks like a fence, but acts differently depending on your role. If you're an operator in creative mode, it works as a fence. For all other players and in other modes, it's an invisible wall stretching from the build limit to the void. Border blocks are ideal for creating strong boundaries in games, preventing non-operator players from crossing. They are perfect for replayable mini-games such as Badge Wars, Builder Wars, created by the Ninja Team, and Skywars. So Builder Wars is a game we've been working on, and we've made quite a few different types of it. This is the code for border block. But yeah, with Builder Wars, we haven't quite gotten it to what we want it to, so we're still working on it. Allow and deny blocks. What are allow and deny blocks? Allowed blocks, only placeable in creative, let the player in adventure mode or those with certain restrictions Break or place blocks above the allow block. So the allow block allows players to mess with blocks above it. Deny blocks, also creative only, are they prevent players in survival mode or those who aren't operators from breaking or placing blocks. So it's the opposite of allow blocks. Deny blocks stop players from messing with the blocks above it. Allow blocks are excellent for many games where some areas can be built in and others can't. Deny blocks are useful in survival worlds, especially to protect the areas with important commands or technical setups. These are the two commands to get them. Structure void. What is structure void? Structure void is an invisible, non-solid block. Players can walk through it. The only thing it blocks is flowing liquids. Only operators and creative can place or remove structure voids. So that means that stuff like water and lava cannot pass through this. Uses. Make decorative fountains, waterfalls, or secret water walls that the players can pass through. Command. This is the command of it. And then light block. What is a light block? A light block is invisible and acts as a customizable light source. With brightness levels up to 50. When placed, tapping it changes its brightness. You can use it to light up areas without torches or lanterns for a clean, magical appearance. So these are invisible blocks, but you can light up the area with either darker, like just barely any light for the player to see, or really bright. And this is the command for it. And structure block, more details when you start loading structures. What is a structure block? Structure blocks are essential for building games in Minecraft. They let you save, move, or reload built structures. And this is the command. So that's really just scratches the surface of what they do. And we'll go into a lot more detail, and you'll have to kind of see pictures of the actual thing to understand it. Command blocks. What is a command block? A command block is the most important hidden block for making Minecraft games. With it, you can run commands in order, or run multiple commands at once, or set up an automation and special events. That's the code to get it. And then you have command block types. So here's one. Impulse. This is the one that is always active when you set down, or like this is the one that when you set down the command block, it's set to this mode. It's orange. Impulse runs its command once each time it gets power. So from a lever, button, or redstone block. Repeat, or any other redstone. Repeat runs its command over and over and over again as long as it has power. Setting it to always active repeats the command forever when players are within the range. That's another thing. If you want to find out how to increase the command block range, there is a code in subscriber stuff to find that out. Chain lets you string together command blocks so that they activate in a sequence. Use the arrows to line them up the chain. Line them up. The chain will run after the impulse block. Make sure that the chain command blocks are set to always active unless you're providing extra redstone power. So if the chain command blocks are not set to always active, then that means each command block needs redstone power. Timing tips. Use ticks to delay commands execution or when they run. 20 ticks equals 1 second. Use conditional for a command if a command should run only after the previous one succeeds. Use unconditional to always run it when it's powered. And then Jigsaw, we don't really know how to use Jigsaw yet. We're looking into it though. Alright, this is the give command and lesson 1 part 3. The give command is one of the most common commands used in Minecraft. When this command runs, it gives an entity an item. The item given to the entity is determined by what you specify in the command. If you read part 1, how to run a command with chat, you already know how to run the command, how the command starts. if you haven't read it, it goes like this, /give. The rest of the command looks like this, /give at a diamond 10. So at a, diamond, and 10 can all be changed. In this example, diamond is the item I chose for the command, but you can replace diamond with any other item. Also block, like you can give blocks. Those are counted as items. Like if you can get it in your inventory, you can get it from the give command. Note, at A is entities I'm giving, at A is the entity I'm giving the item to. At S is yourself, the person writing the command, or where the block writing the command if you're using a command block. At R, a random player. At A, all players. At P, the closest player. At E, all entities. Some item ideas require an underscore, this little icon right, or a symbol right here, instead of a space. For example, for the item diamond sword, you can't just type diamond sword. There's a space there, and that with the space, as the system won't understand it. Instead, use an underscore where the space would be. So give as diamond sword with an underscore. The number at the end tells the system how many of them to give the entity. You can change this number to anything you want, but if you only want to give one of the item, you don't need to include a number at all. And then this is part 4. This part 4, but part 1 of part 4. The TP command. TP stands for teleport player. The /TP command is used to teleport a player, but it can also teleport all entities. You can change at S to at A, at P, at R, or at E to target different entities. So /TP at S at P. This command will teleport you, at S, or whoever ran the command, to the nearest player, at P. The /TP David334 to Fighter 66. This command will teleport David334 to Fighter 66. Note, if the username contains a space, add quotation marks around the name. You do not have to use an underscore in the name if you enclose it in quotation marks. Personally, I think that adding an underscore is easier than typing quotation marks at the beginning and end, but that's my opinion. So if you're writing a name, you must use these quotation marks. But if you're not, and it's an ID, you can use quotation marks, but I use underscore. If you look back at the command /TP David33456, you'll see that there is an, oh wait, no. So that is another thing I see that I messed up. Right here, there is no underscore. Yet, I must have fixed that, but I didn't fix this, so it's an explanation for why there's an underscore. So, pretty much, this is helpful to know, but I did not do that. I fixed that. You can also teleport an entity to a set of coordinates by typing in the coordinates immediately after the entity you wish to affect. In the example below, the afflicted entity is at S, which refers to yourself. So TP at S to coordinates 10, 60, minus 64, 35. This command will teleport you at S to the coordinates 10, 60, minus 64, 35. To view your current coordinates, enable them in settings. Go to settings and cheats, then show coordinates. Long note, you might be wondering if ATTE can be controlled in some way, and you're right. ATTE can refer to any entity with life in the game, such as animals, monsters, but also works for things like armor stands and boats. If you want to target only certain entity types and add square brackets right after ATTE, then specify the entity type using the type entity ID. Don't forget to close the brackets. So, example, you add the square brackets, add the type, the equal sign, and then the entity that you want it to go to. And then close it with another bracket. This command will teleport all armor stands to the coordinates 10, -64, 35.